Is it started?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, good evening, guys. So today we will, go through events in LWC. Okay, our agenda will be like we'll see the recap of child to parent events and parent to child events, which we had covered in the previous sessions. And our today's agenda will be more focused on composition, event bubbling, and PubSub model. Okay, we'll see in details. We'll see the demo. We'll go through the code as well, how it is implemented, and we'll try to understand how it behaves in real life scenarios. So directly it will not be more theory based. Okay, it will directly I'll try to make it more practical by using the demonstration. So just going through the demonstration of this child to parent. My entire screen is visible, right? So I don't need to share this Chrome again, right? Is it visible to you all? It's Chrome. I'm just displaying one page.
Yeah,
Yes,
we can see.
entire screen
Okay.
is visible.
So here, see, these all examples are of child to parent event only. Okay, we'll go through this event. This is very simple to understand. Then it's more complex. Then, okay. So here you can see this C paginator. Okay, is a child component of this main component. Which is event simple. Okay, and there are two buttons, next and previous. Okay, which we are on click of each of them we are firing an event, and basically this event is going to this event simple, which is a parent component, and it is updating this page number. Okay, so I'll click on this. The page numbers are getting updated. So each time when I click, it is passing an event, and this parent is handling that event. Okay, when I click on previous, it is just reducing the number. Okay, let's just go through this code. Okay, how it is implemented. So our this event simple is the main parent component, and paginator is the child. Okay, so let's see the paginator first. So in the paginator, as you can see, there's there are only two buttons here. Okay, previous and next, and both are calling their respective methods, handle previous and handle next. Okay, now if I go to the paginator JS, both are dispatching an event, which is a custom event named previous and named next. Okay, on both of the buttons. Now what this will do, it has just dispatched an event, right? It has just fired an event in Aura terms. If we talk about this event, has to be handled by its parent, right? So our parent was event simple, right? So I go to event simple. So this event simple is a parent component, as we all know, and it contains this child component, right? So how this child to parent events are handled. So in Aura terms, we had to use that tag, right? Aura handler, and we need to write that in the parent component, and in the child component we need to write that Aura register event something. Okay, so the one which is registered, he will fire the event, and one which handles it, it will handle an event. Basically it will call its method on their when that event is fired. So in LWC, to do that, it is done through the JavaScript handlers only. Okay, and now JavaScript handlers are nothing but just prefixing an on syntax. Okay, on just prefix this on before the event name. Okay, and that will do the handling kind of thing. So on previous and on next. Previous was our name of the child events, and we just use that on syntax here. So on previous and on next, it will call these methods which are specific to this parent. Okay, event simple, that is parent. Okay, we'll go through this. So handle previous and handle next. So as you can see, this method does nothing. It's just increments the page number here, right? Or decrements the page number based on the event what we call. Okay, a simple example, but here we try to understand, okay, that how the communication takes place from child component to a parent component, right? In the real life examples also, if you see, this event is with data. Okay, so here the C contact list items are, the child components only. Okay, the only difference is they are used with an iterator here. It's a for loop which is looping with all the contacts, and all the contact list is displayed, but the parent is only one, which is nothing but event with data. When I click on this Amy Taylor, you can see the Amy Taylor details are visible here. I click on here with another contact, then another contact's details are visible. Okay, so you can correlate this with the real-time scenarios of your own use case, right? That when there is a need to use this child to parent. Okay, so any doubts here? I want to make this interactive, so any doubts you can ask in between itself, so that we will complete one topic and then only we'll move forward to the next.
Yeah, Jayesh, Sharad here. Can you
Mhm.
make us go through the flow again in the code?
Okay,
How
for this event
it's
simple or
communicating?
for this event with data?
Event simple one.
Simple only, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. For this event simple, this HTML is clear to you, the event parent components HTML, the UI part. It has nothing,
Uh,
it has just a paginator component, okay, which
uh,
is a child component, and it is displaying these page numbers here, okay, with a page attribute, page variable basically.
okay.
Okay, so this component has nothing. It's just called this child component, and it just use this paragraph tag to display the page numbers here. Okay, the
So
main thing happens.
this paginator, this tag is used for calling the child
No,
component.
this is the name of the child component itself,
Oh,
paginator,
okay,
right?
okay,
Hmm.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, and what extra we are doing is we are handling this previous and next event, okay, by using this on prefix. Okay, as I showed you, this previous and next were the names of the event, right? The custom event which we configured there.
Yeah.
If I just click on this, I think it will directly go. Yeah, see, see paginator. Let's go into the CSS. We want this paginator JS. Yes. Yeah, see, now it is clear, right? That this is the name of the custom event which we dispatch. So here, if you give any name, any other name, just prefix that on there, and you can handle it from the parent. Okay, so parent is doing nothing. It is just incrementing this variable, which is page. Okay, and displaying on its component.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and this handle previous and handle next, these are
These
for
are the
the
custom
parent.
methods of the
Yeah,
of the parent
the
event.
parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Okay,
Okay, yeah. Thanks.
fine. Anyone else? Any other doubts? So, are you able to correlate with this event with data, which is little complex than event simple? So, concept is actually the same. The bottom line concept of calling from child to parent is the same. Here we are using the anchor text basically, okay, to fire that event and displaying these details on the parent.
Means we are passing id from parent component and show this data in other component.
Yeah, but these both are related. Okay, other component when you tell, then
Mhm.
this other component is nothing but its parent only. Okay, the parent of contact list item,
Okay, okay.
right? All right. So on our next part, we have the recap of parent to child. Okay, child to parent is clear, right? That we are calling an event from the child, and on the parent it is handled through that on prefix. So parent to child, we will see demo directly, and then we'll go through the code. Okay, so as you can see, we'll start with this. Okay, left hand side app. So, and this will be little complex then. So here percentage element, okay, it's part of API property, which is nothing but parent. Okay, and the chart bar which you can see this grayish named C chart bar. Okay, this is nothing but the child component of this API property. Okay, so the moment I do 10, you can see the child is updating automatically, right? 20, 10, 25, I do 10, 30. Okay, so basically you can see this input element is having an on change event, okay, on this element, and that on change event, it should be firing a custom event from this parent, which this C chart bar handles it and accordingly displays its chart or the progress bar, we can say. Okay. So let's just go through this code to be more clear. API property is parent and chart bar is our child. Let's open API property. Okay. So this API property, if you can see, it is having one lightning input, right? That percentage one, and the value of it is dynamic basically. Okay, it is having a value of a variable that the name of which is percentage. Okay, and on change of it is on change event is calling one method. Okay, that is handle percentage change. Okay, let's go to this method, what this method is doing. So handle percentage change, okay, it is passing this event parameter here onto this component, and this this dot percentage, which is our variable, this percentage, it is getting the value from this event dot target dot value. Okay, so basically this percentage will get some value from some event. Okay, that's it what this component that's it what the parent is doing. Okay, so API property event dot target dot value is stored into this percentage, and this percentage will be rendered onto this API HTML, API property HTML. Okay. Now, here you can see there is one more child component, that is C chart bar. Okay, which is taking the value, okay, of percentage in from the percentage attribute of the child. Okay, so where percentage equal to, you are passing your percentage attribute of the parent to our child component. Okay, I'll just finish this. It will be more clear. One second. I'll open this C chart bar as well. Okay. So C chart bar, just understand, like, the parent has passed its attribute named percentage to this chart bar LWC component. Okay. So this chart bar is containing this percentage, whatever the parent has passed. Okay. And then accordingly, it is just displaying this chart. Okay, see, return the width, it is just appending that width to that percentage what is passed from the parent. Okay, let's say what I did is, from the parent I just entered any value, right? That 25 or 30, whatever I entered, it has been passed to our child, which is nothing but the chart bar. Okay, and that is accessed through this API decorator. Okay, if you remember from our previous sessions, API decorators are used when something has to be public. Okay, in terms of Java, if we talk about, whenever we want to have an attribute as public, we use that public access modifier, right? The similar thing is there in LWC using the API decorator. So we have this API decorator percentage, which is coming from our parent. Okay, that is API property, and what it does is, get style is a this method is actually to link to the child only. It has nothing to do with its parent, that is API property. Okay? And it has to return the width of this percentage, whatever we are passing. Okay, so whenever you pass 25 or 30, okay, this will be here, accessed here, and accordingly the width of that progress bar is changed. Okay, if you go to this chart HTML, it is just displaying that percentage value. Okay. So This is passed to here, and accordingly it is displaying that. Any doubts here?
Can you go to the child JS?
Yeah, chart bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So what is this style? I mean, this style method, we are not calling it.
No, we are calling it.
Are
We
we?
are,
Okay.
we are calling. In the chart bar HTML, if you see, one second, this one. Okay, see, this is a div which is of the class bar. Now bar is nothing but, if you had gone through bootstraps, right? So there are basically inbuilt classes, so it will display a kind of bar. Okay, class equal to bar, and the style attribute is defining the CSS of it. Okay, what should be the width of that bar? Okay, now the moment I call this style as like this, in the curly braces, basically it will be calling the getter method of this. Okay, and that is nothing but in this JS you can see get style method. Okay, it will be returning the width of this, and that width is nothing but it is based on the value which we are getting from our parent using the API template.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Got it, right? Anyone else? Any doubt here? Parent to child communication. Okay, so similar to this simple example, if you can relate, so this is again in API function, that is a parent which we are having one button that is refresh time, and on click of this it will just refresh the time here. As you can see, the time was refreshed, right? The minutes were changed. Okay, so the similar concept, on this click of button the event will be passed, and that event will be handled into the C clock, which is a child component of API function. Okay, so the parent to child communication always takes place in form of, the parent should be passing its dynamic variable or the attribute into the child while calling the child. Okay, so if you can see in API property, this C chart bar is our child, and the parent is passing its dynamic property, okay, into the child, and that's the reason, it is getting the updated value, and accordingly the value of the parent is getting changed, and that all happens through our API decorator. Okay, there is nothing the event firing or something like that here. It's all happening through our API property. Okay, all right. So now coming to our main agenda today, that is composition. Okay, now it's a huge concept of LWC, but will start with the basics first, and then we will deep dive in as we will move to our next sessions. Okay. So composition basically, means components within the body of another component. Okay. So if you would have seen the earlier example which we saw today itself, that for child to parent communication or from parent to child communication. So we are using the components, child component inside the parent components, okay, to make the modularization more easier, to make it more readable, right? And it has its own advantage as well, because it increases the performance as well. Okay, the one component is not taking the load of the entire thing. It is basically divided into modules. Okay, so this is that concept of composition here. So building the complex components from the simpler building block components. Okay, the small units of modules will make a total complex component. Okay. So this is the basic definition, but this composition does more as well. So what I'll do is, basically, if you go to this developer guide only, okay, so here we have, some advanced concepts like, the slots and the data passing. Okay, and a lot more things. So the slots and all these things will be covering in details. Okay, so composition not only helps to just, modularizing the things, but it also helps in the advanced topics, like, for slots, if I give you some idea, like it is used to pass the markup. Okay, the HTML markup you can pass to your child, or to the parent from the child. Okay. So composition, it's a concept basically, but we will try to see one demo as well. So on the basic side, if you can concentrate, okay. So we have one, contact tile, right? Contact tile, which is a child of this composition basics, right? And it helps us to, if you see this, that in the and just if you can visualize that, okay, our main component is the whole component, okay, which is the entire page, and we have some, different details. Just like we are building one website, we have the header as something and the footer as something, and the body is only getting changed, which is the middle part of that page. So something like that, okay, here as well. Okay, so we have this C contact tile, which are the childs, and this is only one component, but it is iterating 3 times. That's the reason we are having this C contact tile 3 times. Okay, but it is only one. And similarly, this composition iteration, it's the main one component. Friends, I'll just go to this code. So composition basics is our parent and C contact tile. Okay, it's our child. So if you can say this composition basic HTML, so it is having, I mean, it's just a title of composition basics, and then we are calling the contact tile component here by passing the contact here, whatever contact we need to display the details of. And this contact tile is nothing but the component which is handling the, the UI part of a tile, right? How this contact has to be uh, displayed in the form of tile. So in future, if the use case arises to change some UI of a tile, so we just need to focus on contact tile, okay, uh, which is this component, and we don't need to bother about all the other components in if the entire build is complex. Okay, that's the main point of this contact tile, the composition concept. Any doubts here?
Jayesh, could you please come again? Whatever you mentioned.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
contact tile.
was talking about, I was talking about the real time scenario only. So let's say this is an entire big complex page is there, and the requirement comes to change on the contact tile only. Okay, to change the appearance of the tile, how the tile has to be displayed, something. So you have to just bother about this contact tile component, right? Okay, as per the composition concepts, because you have divided your whole complex logic into this different lightning web components, right, which are called inside each other, right? So we just need to make the change in this component only if we have that.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, see, we could have done this same contact tile thing. Okay, I could have, let me show you this contact tile. Yeah, this one. Okay, so this is, I mean, this is just displaying this template, right? Okay, the entire thing. So I would have, copy pasted directly this into my composition basics. Okay, and that would have also done the same thing. Okay, the appearance would be entirely similar to this. Okay, but what we have, gained by using the composition concept is this next example, right? When you have more than one context to be displayed, now in your simple example, what you will do is you will just copy paste the same HTML 3 times, right? Okay, but using the composition, what you will do is you will just loop of you'll just make a for loop here, loop in 3 times, and this contact tile will be called 3 times, and it will display 3 contacts here like this. Clear? Is it clear to all of you?
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to the next, event bubbling. Okay. So
Jayus,
yeah,
can you show me that VS Code once again? I just want to see those contact details you are fetching from your in API
okay.
property. I mean, yeah. So this is
From
the
this,
direct Salesforce object we are using, right?
yeah, this one, right? Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me open this contact and it will be more clear. 1 second. HTML is here. So this is only the UI part, but main thing happens in the JS where we are calling this. Okay, API contact. We are just passing that contact property from our main parent. Okay, to display the tile part. And if you see this JS, it's a simple basic contact
Okay.
I just created.
So you have created only one contact here, but we are able to see three.
No. This 3.1 is a different LWC app. Okay? Let me open this composition iteration.
So you mean you have created the dummy data, right?
Yeah. This is all dummy
But
data.
you are not connecting this with Salesforce. I
No,
mean,
as of now,
at the
no.
record level.
Yeah, we can do that also, right? See, we can call that contact data, or we can use the server to get the list of contacts, and then we can store it in this contact. Okay, it will be the same thing, and then we have passed this contacts as an array to our child contact tile attribute, the contact tile component, to display it in that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, so for that, do we need to write Apex, or we can directly call our contact Salesforce contacts object here?
So yeah, there are two things there. So on the LDS part, Lightning Data Service part, you can either import the contact by using the UI API, okay, and get the details of it, or you can use the server as well, okay. So both you need to import and then call, basically doing a query there and getting that list here, and then the similar thing to
Okay,
this.
okay. Okay, fine.
The data part,
Thanks.
actually we will cover it in the next session, okay. That how the server and Apex communication takes place in the LWC. All right, so we will talk about event bubbling. Okay, so any guesses, any wild guesses how this event bubbling takes place? Because we might have encountered this while building the Aura components as well, or in any development previously. Any guesses? I just want any one of you to just speak some lines on this event bubbling.
I don't know. Maybe Dinesh knows.
Okay. Event bubbling is something very similar to like you boil a water, right? So you can see bubble coming from down to up, right? So the same way in Lightning or in event in LWC also. So if you have more than one components and you want to communicate with each components and in some sequence, right? So in that case you can define this event bubbling. So maybe if you want to uh, you want to contact from component 1 to 2, then 2 to 3. So that way when we want to communicate we can define this bubblings.
Correct.
So bubbling, it's a, I mean, we have read in data structure bubble sort, something like that.
No, bubble sort is
No.
entirely different. It's a sorting mechanism actually. Yeah, but here event bubbling. Yeah, sorry.
No, continue.
Okay. Here event bubbling is like go to Chrome part, and if you see this child to parent, okay. So this child to parent is visible, right? Event bubbling, this third LWC component.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so see, in child to parent communication, what we saw is like I am just firing one event from my child, okay, and it is going to my immediate parent, okay. Now I don't want this to happen. Even I want this event to bubble through the grandparent as well, okay. Just try to understand here, like this event bubbling as of now it's not having any grandparent, okay. Like see, contact list item bubbling is having its immediate parent as event bubbling component, okay. But just visualize if it is having a grandparent as well, okay. So the event which I call from Emmy Taylor, okay, it will not bubble to only event bubbling, that is its immediate parent. It will also bubble to its grandparent as well, Okay, and even the grandparent can also handle that event. Okay, it's not a best practice, I'll say. Event bubbling and that composition attribute, which I'll talk about later. So that is not a best practice, because this event has to be handled within the shadow boundary as only. That is the best practice, uh, uh, which should be followed. Okay, but on the concept end, when there is a need, we might have to use this. Okay, so if you just go through this line, child to grandparents communication using the event that bubbles, and it is handled on a higher level element in the dormitory. Okay, so one more example I'll give you using this playground. Okay, everyone can see this, right? This vehicle component, then Tesla component is there, then Model 3 component inside it only. Okay, the Honda component is completely different. Okay, so here just try to notice what I when I click this click me, what will happen. Okay, see, if I clicked on this click me, an event occurred, it gone through this Honda component. Okay, event was fired from this Tesla again, and this event, okay, was captured onto this vehicle component as well. Okay, see, the event was fired from click me, Model 3 was clicked, this got captured here in Tesla component, and this Tesla component, I mean, it had handled it, and the event started in Tesla Model 3, and then it was handled in vehicle component as well. That is the grandparent of this. Okay, let's go to this vehicle HTML. Okay, what it is doing. See, this vehicle is having two components, C Tesla and C Honda. C Honda is this one. Okay, and Tesla is entirely this one. Okay, if you go to Tesla is having, this is Tesla component, that is a just one line thing, and here we are just displaying a log. And C Model 3 is nothing but another component here. Okay, so if you see, this Model 3 is a child of what? Tesla, correct? And we have something on model click here. So basically model click is nothing but a custom event which is fired from our child, and which is handled by its immediate parent by using on prefix, correct? So Tesla is handling this. If you can see this Model 3 JS, okay, custom click is firing this model click. Okay, and it is passing this event started in Tesla Model 3 as a log, it is passing, and this has been tracked in its immediate parent, that is this Tesla component. Okay, if I go to this, so it is just capturing that captured event, and then event.detail, that is event started in Tesla Model 3. Okay, and it is not stopping there. Okay, it is dispatching one more event. Okay, if it is dispatching one more event, where this event will be handled, then it will be handled in this vehicle component, that is nothing but the grandparent of it. Okay, and grandparent is handling this by just publishing this event detail. Okay, and if you notice this here, VS Code only. So we will see this. Okay, event bubbling. Because see, why I'm not going to this code directly, I just want you to just understand this concept. Okay, from the child component, the event was fired, it was handled in parent, and parent is not stopping there, it is also firing one event which is handled in the grandparent level. Okay, till this point it is clear, right? This explanation from Model 3 to Tesla to vehicle, it's clear, right, to all of you? Any doubts here?
Yeah, a little bit, not that much, but
Okay.
it's a little complex for me.
Yeah. I mean, see, here in this example, actually, we are this immediate parent, which is Tesla, right? It is also firing an event okay, which is handled by this vehicle component, which is the grandparent of it. Okay, but if we use this bubbles equal to true attribute, right? So we don't have to fire the event from this parent. It will be handled by vehicle component automatically. Okay, the concept is that. So on the on this our app, okay, event bubbling, I'll show you how it has been done. Okay, see, event bubbling, just make sure event bubbling is parent and contact list item bubbling is our child, where we have this list. Okay, so if I go to event bubbling first, this is my event bubbling. Okay, it's a little bit complex, but once the concept is clear, it will be really easy. Okay, so this has the context data. Okay, and this context data is coming from this. Okay, so what this is doing, it is just looping around this. So you can see this for each, right? For each on the contact data, and just I'm passing that contact ID and contact here, and it is displaying the list of all the contacts. Okay, now if you see this on contact select, okay, this is the handler which is handled by the parent. Okay, when I click on one contact, it should do this. Okay, so if I go to this contact list item bubbling, okay, so this component, it has to just display that contact picture and contact name. Okay, and on the JS side, if you see, it is dispatching one event. Okay, it is making one custom event called contact select, and it is having its attribute called bubbles equal to true, and it is firing that custom event. Is it clear? See, this ahref tags, right? I'll just try to explain in detail. So ahref tags are this. ME Taylor, if you see this links, hyperlinks. Okay, and on clicking of this, okay, I'll be calling this handle select method. Now, if you go to this handle select method, okay, now event.prevent default is like, see, whenever we click on any hyperlink, it will go to the next tab and go to that link, whatever is there in the href. But here we don't want to do that. Okay, that's the reason this event.prevent default is written. So right now you can just keep aside this. Our main focus is on this select event. Okay, select event is nothing but our custom event which we have built with the name as contact select, and we have this property called bubbles equal to true here. Okay, while firing this event, this dispatch this event is dispatched now. Now its parent, it will handle this by prefixing on here. Okay, so our parent is nothing but event bubbling. It should be having something called on contact select anywhere in its the whole HTML. So here we can see that it is having that on contact select. Okay, now on contact select is calling this method handle contact select. Okay, now if you see this handle contact select, it is just getting the selected contact here. Okay, and it is doing nothing. I mean just that it's just and getting that contact, and it is displaying there. Okay, but the event doesn't stop there. Okay, this example is trying to explain us that only. This event doesn't stop. Even if this event bubbling had its grandparent also, right, that grandparent also can handle this on context select event, and it can call its own method, just like this parent is doing. Okay, that is what this bubbling is all about.
Okay.
Is it clear to anyone? I mean,
So
any
in
doubt?
this example, still do we have the grandparent also?
No, in this example, we are not having that. That's the reason I'm just explaining that, because see this Amy Taylor, when I clicked here, so this child has passed an event. It has dispatched that event by making bubbles equal to true. Okay, so what happens is, like, its immediate parent, that is event bubbling, it's handling it by prefixing that on. Okay, if we had a grandparent of it, okay, if event bubbling is also having one parent, so that also can handle the same event by calling that on handle select. Okay, and it can call it its own method. That will be possible without doing any change in their component.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Any doubts on event bubbling? So it's just a matter
Uh,
of 1 minute.
yeah, one
Mhm.
doubt. So if we have multiple child, so can we set the sequence
Can we set a sequence?
of event?
Yeah, it will always happen in the sequence only. So, like the immediate parent will be called first, and then the main parent, the grandparent of it, and then its grandparent, like that. It will be.
Okay.
And there is one more concept of composition here we are having. Okay, so this composed, yeah. So see, we are having a concept of shadow DOM and bubbles. Okay, we saw this bubbles attribute while firing an event. Similarly, we have this composed attribute as well. Okay, so see, bubbles, when we set bubbles equal to true, so it will just give, it will just grant an access to an event that it can it can go to its grandparent also. Okay, a boolean value indicating whether the event can be bubbled up or not through the DOM. Okay, and this composed attribute is like a boolean value indicating whether the event can pass through the shadow boundary. Okay, now when we talk about a shadow boundary, what it's mean is like like this is our component, right? Event bubbling. Okay, it has created a shadow boundary here, and Emmy Taylor is one of the part of our child component. Okay, which has, let's say, composed equal to false but bubbles equal to true. So even if the event has the ability to bubble up to this event bubbling, it cannot cross its shadow boundary, which is nothing but contactless bubbling. Okay, and it cannot cross that shadow boundary and go to its grandparent. That is what I mean to say here. Okay, so that should be a combination of bubbles equal to true and composed equal to true. Then only event can be bubbled up and it can cross the shadow boundary.
Jayesh, what is a shadow boundary here? What does that mean?
So okay, so here just visualize like this this event bubbling is having one more component, okay, which is contained like grand event bubbling, something like that. Okay, now the shadow boundary of this contact list item bubbling, which is a child of event bubbling, is the immediate parents boundary. Okay, in the DOM tree. Okay. So when we call an event from Emmy Taylor link, okay, it will bubbled up to the immediate. That is a default behavior. But if you want this event to be, crossing that shadow boundary and going to the grandparent as well, then you have to give that composed equal to true. Otherwise, what will happen is, see, event is having an ability to bubble up to grandparent, okay, but that composed equal to false is restricting it to not cross the shadow boundary. Okay, in that case it will not go to grandparent, like that. So that should be a combination of both true, then only it will happen.
So this compose attribute, is this only part of the child? I mean, you're saying that we have
Yeah,
child and a
see,
and then a
both attributes are part of child only. Wherever you are dispatching an event, there only you have to define that what this value of what is the value of bubbles and what is the value of compose. See, here we are seeing in our example, right, that this contact list item bubbling, right, our component was having that bubbles equal to true here. See, correct. Similarly, so we are not passed composed here, but it will take its by default value. Okay, if you see the default values,
So default value will be false, right, for
false,
composed?
right? Yeah, correct.
Okay.
See, both are false, the default value. Okay, any doubts before we move forward to the next? All right, so
No, Jais, we can move.
okay. So our last topic is the PubSub model, okay, which is anyone can guess, I mean, a wild guess what this PubSub model does. See, we got the concept of parent to child, we got the concept of child to parent. Okay. So any wild guesses what this PubSub model, why this PubSub model is needed, which type of event is remaining to be handled? That's the reason we got this PubSub model. Anyone?
So communication between two different hierarchies, maybe.
Right. Yeah, you're very near actually. So it's like when two components. So till now, whatever components we saw, they were having the relations, right? That either a immediate parent is being called or immediate child is being called. Okay. So they are having the relation of parent and child in the same hierarchy, right? What if the two components are not related to each other in any relation? There is no relation between those components, but we need to pass an event. We need to communicate between them. There lies the concept of PubSub. Okay, publishing and subscribing. Basically, one will be publishing an event, and the one which has to handle that event, it has to subscribe that, to listen that event, and finally handle it. Okay, so I'll just show you the demo. It will be more clear. Then we'll deep dive into the code. Okay, as you can see here, see this PubSub search bar is a different component. PubSub context list is a different component, and PubSub contact details is a different component. Okay, so just see what happens. Okay. I am searching for Amy Taylor. You saw this? Amy Taylor comes in. Okay. When I click on this Amy Taylor, so details of Amy Taylor is in the third component. Right? Got the concept, everyone?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So one component here, I have passed an event which is handled by this. It makes it search based on the search input whatever I have given here. It displays the contact list. When I click on that contact, the other component this is firing an event, and this contact details is receiving that event, subscribing that event, and displaying the details of it. Okay. So in LWC, see, if I relate this with Aura, so in Aura we had a concept of application events, right? And we were reading like application events has a capability to broadcast the events. Okay, so anyone can and any component which is not having any relation to that component can hear it and can call its method and do its task in that method. Okay. So in LWC, we, in order to do that, there is no concept called a $A or the application events here. Okay. On the other side, we have the concept of a utility, that is the PubSub utility, which has been built by René Winkelmeyer, and one more person has built. So even we can build our own utility. So in order to have this kind of use case built, we have to import that utility first. Okay, it's a kind of interface, you can treat it like that. So an interface, first we have to import that, and once we import the interface, we have to call its method. So we'll have the method here as register event, fire event, and handle event, like that kind of thing. Okay, so let's see the code. Okay, for this PubSub search bar, if you see, go to our PubSub search bar. Okay, so it is having an input of search bar, and on change it will do this handle keychain whenever I'll be typing this. Okay, let us open this JS. Okay, now handle key change is doing what? It is firing an event. Now this fire event method is coming from our utility called C/PubSub. Okay, this utility we have imported, and this fire event is a method of that PubSub utility. Fine. So this has to fire an event. So this method has predefined arguments which we have to pass it in order to fire that event. That is, one is the page reference we have to pass, then the event name we have to pass, which is search key change in our case, and event.target.value. Basically, the target.value will be what here? whatever I have written there, ME, right? So that text will be the value here. Okay, this has been fired here. Now the next component, that is pops up contact list, it has to receive this event, right? And accordingly it has to act. So this fire event has published the event, right? Understand the concept like this. It has fired an event, it has published an event. Now opening the pubs of contact list here. I open this pubs of contact list here. So it was displaying the context data, right? Correct. But in the JS, if you see here, we have imported again something from C/PubSub, our utility, that is register listener, unregister all listeners, and fire event. We have imported all these methods basically. Okay. Now register listener, here we have written this in the connected callback. Now connected callback, you can relate it like, you know, it is an init method of our Aura component, which has to fire whenever the component is loaded first time. Okay, so whenever this component will be loaded, it will register the listener. Basically, whenever an event named search key changes fire, I need to listen this. I am subscribing to this search key change event. Okay, now what method is there? It has to call when it is listening that, it has to call this dot search handle search key change method. Okay, and this is nothing but passing the reference to it. Okay? So if you notice this, when we clicked on that and when we just typed in that ME Taylor there, okay, so handle search key method will be called because it has subscribed that, and the search key will be passed in here, right? So our search key will be ME and it is passed to the search key attribute of this own component. Okay, this is the private attribute of this component, PubSub contact list. Now this search key is used in the HTML file of this contact list. Okay, as you can see, the search key, one second. Yeah, so this search key will be stored in here, and in order to display this search key, in order to display the context based on the search key, so if you see on context select no, on context select no, on this contact, oh okay, this component again it is calling contact list item bubbling in order to display the contact details. Okay, so contact list, okay, let's open that as well. One second, we should have something based on this search key. The details should be displayed in our this PubSub contact list. Okay, that is only thing which I'm searching for. The search key should be changed. Handle context select. But in order to display the list for item context or data, now context or data, okay, there is a change here. One second. Okay, so you can see this search key is used here in finding the contacts. Okay, so Monica, your doubt here will also be cleared. Okay, we are importing the contacts from Apex controller. Okay, here. So in Apex controller, contact controller, we will be having a method called find contacts. Okay, where we are passing this search key, and this search key we got from the event. Okay, this event and this dot search key is storing that attribute, and we are using this search key here in order to find that contact. So basically all the contacts should be rendered which is having the search key as ME. Okay, and then okay, this PubSub search, not this contact list. Okay, PubSub contact list, it has to just display this context detail here. Okay, using this contact list item bubble component. Any doubts here, anyone?
Okay. So this is basically we are making multiple components interactive, like
Right.
dependent.
Yeah. Which basically don't have any relation between them. See, best practice says like if two of the components are having relation between them, like they are falling in the hierarchy, then definitely we have to go with our the orthodox child to parent and parent to child communications. Okay. But here in our case,
Okay.
in three of them, there was no relation only. They are not falling into their hierarchy, right? So that's the reason we had to import that utility in order to publish the event from here and subscribe those events here.
Okay, in JS you have that, right? That import.
Yeah, yes. In both of them, see, if you see in the PubSub search bar as well, in the JS, I have imported this fire event method from C/PubSub, okay, which is my utility, and in my contact list as well. Okay, in the contact list JS also, if you see, I have imported these three methods from C/PubSub.
This C/PubSub, you have created this utility, right?
This
It's
utility
not
is already created. See, this is the utility if you see. Okay.
so this is predefined.
Yeah. Salesforce has predefined this. Okay. It is
Oh,
available on
okay,
the
okay.
Git. We just need to import that into our file. Okay. And we just need to use this. So if you see this, it is nothing. It has no HTML file, no CSS, nothing. It has only the JS. See, this is the JS of it. So these are the methods available: fire event, register listener, everything, and we need to utilize these methods.
Okay, so this PubSub, how we will, add here in this left bar.
Yeah.
It will come automatically as soon as you will add the.
No, it will not. Yeah. Automatically, in this case, just as you clone git clone some projects, right? You need to git clone this utility into your this project. Okay, and then it will automatically come. So basically, when you just deploy this Lightning Web component, right? You need to deploy this as well. Okay, it will automatically take care.
Just like
Okay.
while we are creating like HTML or .js file, so Manika, I think she's asking how we are going to import this.
Create this.
So is there any I mean like XML file we need to copy and paste into somewhere, right? I don't know. I mean
No,
how.
there is no HTML or
I mean,
XML file. It's
Jais,
just
how
a
you
simple
got
code.
this PubSub component here at left bar? Did you import? Did you extract that from the org or retrieve that from the org or what?
Yeah. What I have done is there is a Git repository available for this PubSub. Okay, I have just
Okay.
cloned it and included in my project basically, but in the project file, a simple file I can create it from here, right? The JS files, I can just include it,
Okay.
and then I need to import that.
So can you click on that file? Can you show us this once? Like, how did you import that
Click on
here?
this. Okay.
From your Git.
Mm-hmm.
Just for an example, like, how did you connected that Git here?
Okay.
I guess just can I explain this for
Yeah. Sure. You can go ahead.
So basically,
Yeah,
all you guys, basically there is a sample projects available from Salesforce, right? So there all these event and relative files we can find in Git. So there is a Git link also, and we can download that zip and we can pick up that file from there, and just we can directly copy it to our project. It's that simple only. Just no need to like register anywhere or anything. Just download from Git, which is available from Salesforce itself, and just copy that file and include in your project.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same. See, even I was opening that Git repository only. Okay, what I will do is I will get this file. Okay, and then I'll just create. See, simple. This file creation is really simple, right? From here you can just create a
Yes,
file
yes,
with
yes, I
.js.
know.
Okay, and there just you paste it. Now in your component, what you will do is you just need to import the methods which were exported there from that utility.
See,
Okay,
Jayesh, I
can you
think
open this PubSub
see
once that PubSub
Yeah.
JS?
Yes, this one.
You have copy
in fact,
pasted data here, or you just imported from Git? You copied from Git here, right?
Yeah, yeah. I just copied from
Oh,
here. It came in
okay,
here.
okay. Manually you
And,
did that.
and then you will have these all four methods you can utilize in your Lightning Web component, the other Lightning Web component.
Okay, and what Harshad was explaining, so Harshad, this is what you are saying, right? Just to copy that code, or you can directly add that JS file from that Git folder to here.
See, both you can do
Both
actually.
will be fine, but
Both will be
yeah,
fine.
but I would recommend to copy file directly.
See, what matters is this import statement. Okay. See, when you do this import statement here, right? So, see, ultimately, whenever you deploy, you will deploy your Lightning Web component. Okay. You will not deploy this pops.up.js. Okay.
Okay,
Pops.up.js will not be deployed. It is not any
okay, okay,
Lightning Web
okay.
component, right? The moment you import it, what you will do is what it will happen is when you deploy this Lightning Web component, right? Automatically, this pops.up.js will
Okay.
also be imported. Okay, into our Salesforce org.
Okay, okay. So just for referring purpose, we need this in VS Code,
No, but we need
or we don't need
we
actually.
definitely need this, right? How Salesforce will know which custom utility you need to import?
Yes, yes. I mean, if I don't copy here the pubsub.js file, and if I just simply write this
Yeah,
import,
it will not work. It will not work, right?
it will not
Yeah,
work.
it will not.
Oh,
It has to be here, right? I'm referencing a path here from where you need to import. Like this, lightning slash navigate.
but we are not deploying.
No, we are not deploying this. We are deploying our Lightning Web
Oh,
component, but okay.
So automatically it will get deployed, right?
Yeah,
Pubsub.
it will take care,
Otherwise,
right? Because see, it's part of our package.json. The moment you included here, okay, it has
Okay.
came to our package.json.
Okay.
okay, okay. Fine, fine, fine. I think we have already, it's 8:11.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
Chais,
just
what
update it
all
as
is
well.
pending?
No, nothing. I've
Otherwise, we
covered
can
everything.
continue in the next class.
No, I've covered everything. Whatever was uh, there in our agenda today, PubSub model, event bubbling, composition, and the recap of
Okay.
parent to challenge everybody. All are covered.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, so yeah, it was really complex actually for me. So
Okay.
it was great session. I'll try to go through this recordings one more time.
Sure,
So,
sure.
but I understood the concept. So I'll be able
Yeah,
to
the
get
concept should be clear. The syntax, either you can, when you will get the hands-on, right,
syntax.
it
Yeah,
will be
syntax
very
is
easy.
complex.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. So, anyone has any question?
Any queries? Yeah, anyone, just feel free to ask.
Yes, we'll go through once recording, so we'll have some query later
Sure,
on,
sure.
right?
Yeah, definitely in the next session we can discuss them.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
Jai.
you so much.
So you have you can share this PPT with Dinesh as well. I don't
I'll
know if
share it
you
to
share.
our group only. Okay. WhatsApp group only, so everyone can have this access. And the recording also you can share it from your G Drive.
Recording I'll share. PPT, that's fine. PPT is not required for everyone. We can just go through the recordings. You can share PPT with Dinesh for his maybe tracking purpose or something.
Sure, sure. Okay.
Okay. All right then. Thank you everyone. Thanks for
Thanks
joining.
everyone. Yeah,
I
thank you
think
so much.
Dinesh left. His internet was disconnecting a lot.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.